Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class, we have completed a discussion with the topic of contempt of court. And friends, in the previous classes, we have completely discussed about the topic of Supreme Court. So friends, as you can see on the screen that the topic of today's class is High Court. So in the previous classes, we have completely discussed about Supreme Court and now the topic of High Court is left. So now in this class we will discuss about the topic of High Court in a very detailed manner. So friends, let's begin. Friends, as here we are discussing about the Constitution of India, so I have told you this thing in the previous classes also that whenever we are discussing about any topic, so first of all it is our duty to know that where this topic is given in the Constitution of India. So as in the today's class we are discussing about high courts. So first of all we need to understand, and first of all it is our duty to know that where the provisions related to high court are given in the Constitution of India. So this is our first question. So what is the first question? So the first and the most basic question is that where in the Constitution of India the provisions related to high court are given. So friends, when you will study or read the Constitution of India, then you will find that part 6 of the Indian Constitution is about state. Okay, so what is the part 6 of Indian Constitution? Part 6 of Indian Constitution is state, and the chapter 5 of part 6 is judiciary. Okay, so now as part 6 is state and the chapter 5 of part 6 is judiciary, so we can say that the chapter 5 of part 6 of the Indian Constitution deals with state judiciary, which is none other than High Court. Okay, so where the provisions of High Court are given in the Constitution of India, so now you can say that sir, the provisions related to High Courts are given in the chapter 5 of part 6 in the Constitution of India. So provisions related to High Court are given in chapter 5 of part 6 in the Constitution of India. Now friends, after this, the second most important question is that what are the qualifications for becoming a judge of High Court? Okay, so now we need to discuss that if a person wants to become a judge of High Court, then what qualifications, what eligibility he must have. Okay, so now what is our question? So now our question is that what are the qualifications for High Court judge? So friends, the first qualification for becoming the judge of High Court is that the person must be the citizen of India. Okay, so what is the first qualification? The first qualification is that the person who wants to become the judge of High Court, that person must be a citizen of India. So this simply means that foreigners cannot become the judge of High Court. If a person wants to become the judge of High Court, then he must be the citizen of India. Only the Indian citizens are allowed to become the judge of High Court. Now friends, let's move forward. Now friends, this is the second condition or second qualification for a person this is a second qualification which a person must possess if he wants to become a judge of High Court. Okay, so now there are two parts in the second qualification. Okay, so let's suppose that this is part 1 and this is part 2. Okay, and both of these parts are connected with or. So it simply means that if the person has the first qualification, okay, then he is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Then there is no need for second qualification. Okay, and now similar is the case with second qualification. It means that if a person is having the second qualification, then also he is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Then there is no need to have the first qualification. Okay, so it simply means that a person must have either first or second qualification with him if he wants to become a judge of High Court. Now friends, let's read that what are these two qualifications. So the first qualification says that he must have been in judicial service of union or state for at least 10 years. Now what does it mean? So now I am giving you one example. So let's suppose that he is a person, okay, and the name of this person is, let's suppose, Mr. A. Okay, so he is a person and the name of this person is Mr. A. Now let's suppose that Mr. A wants to become a judge of High Court. Okay, so he is desiring to become a judge of High Court. Okay, as all of you are desiring to become an IAS officer, now similar to that, this Mr. A wants to become a judge of High Court. So if this Mr. A wants to become a judge of High Court, then first of all, it is a must condition that he must have been in the judicial service of union or state for at least 10 years. Okay, now what does it mean? So let's suppose that there is a court. Okay, let's suppose there is a court in a state, and this Mr. A is serving as the judge of this court. Okay, so this Mr. A is giving his services as the judge of this court. Okay, now this court can be under union or this can be under states. Okay, so now let's suppose that if this Mr. A has served as the judge of this court for a period of 8 years, then at this time he is not eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. But let's suppose if he has completed 10 years of his service as the judge of a court which is under union or state, then Mr. A will become eligible to be appointed as the judge of High Court. Okay, so the simple meaning of this statement is that if a person wants to become a judge of High Court, then he must have been judicial service of union or state for at least 10 years. Okay, means he must have served in the judicial service for a minimum period of 10 years. Now this judicial service can be under union or this can be under states also. Okay, so if this condition is satisfied, then the person is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Now let us move forward to second condition. So friends, the second condition says that he must have practiced in a High Court or two or more such courts. Means these courts must be like High Courts. Okay, so two or more such courts in succession for at least 10 years as advocate. Now what does it mean? So here also let's suppose that this is a person and the name of this person is, now let's suppose that the name of this person is Mr. B. Okay, now let's suppose that Mr. B wants to become a judge of High Court. Okay, and let's suppose that Mr. B is working as, okay, so currently Mr. B is working as the advocate of a High Court. Okay, so what is the current situation? So currently Mr. B is working as the advocate of a state High Court. Now let's suppose what happened, that Mr. B worked as advocate in High Court number 1 for a period of 4 years. And after that what happened, that Mr. B went to High Court number 2 and then he worked as advocate for next 4 years in High Court number 2. Then after that he moved to High Court number 3 and then for a period of 2 years he worked in High Court number 3. Okay, so when you will sum all these periods, 4 year, 4 year and 2 year, then the result will be 10 years. Okay, and there is one more thing, and that thing is that the person has not taken any gap in between. Okay, he is continuously working. Means first of all he was working in High Court number 1, and when he left High Court number 1, so instantly he joined High Court number 2, and when he left in High Court number 2, then instantly he joined High Court number 3. Okay, it means that he is working in succession. Okay, so what happened, that here you can see that Mr. B worked in 3 High Courts for succession for a period of 10 years. Okay, then you can say that Mr. B is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Okay, so the statement which is written here is that he must have practiced in a High Court or 2 or more such courts in succession for at least 10 years as advocate. Means if a person wants to become a judge of High Court, okay, then he must have practiced in a High Court. Okay, so let's suppose if Mr. B has practiced in only one High Court for a continuous period of 10 years, then also he is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Okay, or if he has worked in 2 or more High Courts, for example here he worked in 3 High Courts, then also he is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. But the period for which he has worked in this High Court must be at least 10 years. Okay, so this is a minimum period. Okay, and if this period is more, then it is more good. Let's suppose if he has worked in 11 years, for 11 years, then no problem. If he has worked for 15 years, then no problem. But minimum he must have worked as the advocate of High Court for a minimum period of 10 years. Okay, then also the person will be eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Okay, so friends, Now, what I am saying that these are two conditions, and if either of these conditions is met, then the person is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Means if a person has subbed as a judge, okay, means let's suppose if a person has subbed in the judicial service of union or states for a period of 10 years, then there is no need that he must satisfy condition 2 also. Okay, and definitely when he is under the judicial service, then definitely he cannot work as the advocate. Okay, and when he is working as advocate, then he cannot work in the judicial services. Okay, so if a person has first qualification, then there is no need for second qualification. Okay, now similar to that, if the person has second qualification, then there is no need for first qualification. So if either of these two qualifications are with a person, then he is eligible for becoming the judge of High Court. Now friends, after this, the next topic is oath. Okay, so means here our question is that who administers the oath for the judge of High Court. Okay, means which officer administers the oath for the judge of High Court. So friends, here there are two things. So let us first of all discuss about the first thing. So what happens that the oath of a High Court judge, the oath of a High Court judge is administered by the governor of that concerned state. Okay, for example, if a new judge in the High Court of Madhya Pradesh is appointed, then the oath for the office of that judge will be administered by the governor of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, what I am saying, again I am repeating my statement, that let's suppose if a judge is appointed in Madhya Pradesh High Court, okay, then the oath for that judge will be administered by the governor of Madhya Pradesh. So generally what happens that the oath of High Court judge is administered by the governor of that concerned state. Okay, now friends, either governor can administer the oath or governor can appoint an officer. Governor can also appoint an officer on his behalf. Okay, so when governor will appoint an officer on his behalf, then this officer will administer the oath to that High Court judge on behalf of the governor of the state. Okay, so what happens that oath to the High Court judge is administered by the governor or a person on his behalf. Okay, but friends, there is one more condition. So this happens for the High Courts of all the states. But for the High Court of Delhi, okay, means for the judges of Delhi High Court, the condition is different. So what is this condition for the judges of Delhi High Court? Okay, so what happens that the oath of the judges of Delhi High Court is not administered by the governor, but it is administered by the President of India. Okay, so what happens that let's suppose if a person is appointed as a High Court judge, then the oath of that person will be administered by the President of India. Okay, so here there is a twist. So there are chances that question can be asked by UPSC from this section. Okay, so understand this section clearly, that what happens that if a judge of any state High Court is appointed, then the oath of the High Court judge is administered either by governor or an officer appointed by governor on his behalf. But if a person is appointed as the judge of Delhi High Court, then what happens that the oath of the judge of Delhi High Court is administered by the President of India. Okay, now friends, after this the next topic is resignation. So this basically means that to whom or to which officer the judges of Supreme Court and High Court submit their resignation. Okay, or to whom the judges of Supreme Court and High Court address their resignation. So what does it mean? So it simply means that let's suppose if there is a judge of Supreme Court. Okay, so here we are discussing for both Supreme Court as well as for the judges of High Court, because here the thing is same. Okay, so here I am discussing for both the judges of Supreme Court as well as for the judges of High Court. So now let's suppose that if there is a judge of High Court, okay, and now he no more wants to serve as the judge of High Court. Now there can be many reasons. For example, let's suppose now he wants to practice as a advocate. Okay, or there can be other reasons also. For example, he is not physically fit. Okay, means he is not able to perform his functions as the judge of high court due to a severe illness, and now he want a long time rest, okay, or now he is not in the mood to serve, okay. So there can be many reasons, but let's suppose if that judge of high court or that judge of supreme court wants to resign from his post, then to whom or to which officer he will address his resignation. So friends, the answer to this question is that the judges of Supreme Court and High Court, the judges of Supreme Court or High Court address their resignation to the President of India. Okay, means they actually submit their resignation to the President of India. So friends, now the next topic is the salary and allowances of the judges of High Court. So now here what we need to study for our exam perspective or our exam point of view. So friends, the question here is that from where, okay, what is our question? Our question is that from where the judges of High Court get their salary, okay. So now I told you that there are many funds in India. For example, there is a consolidated fund of India. There is a public accounts of India. Okay, similarly there are consolidated fund for each state. Okay, and I have taught you about the types of fund in the previous classes in a very detailed manner. So if any of you have not watched that class, then kindly go and watch that class first. Okay, so what is my question? So my question is that from which fund or from where the judges of High Court gets their salary and pension. Okay, so if any one of you knows the answer, then kindly pause the video and give your answer in the comment section. Okay, so pause the video and give your answer in the comment section. Then I will tell you the correct answer. So friends, the salary and allowances of the judges of High Court is charged on the consolidated fund of that concerned state. Now what does it mean? So let's suppose that if there is a judge of Uttar Pradesh High Court, okay. Now this High Court of Uttar Pradesh is commonly known as Allahabad High Court, okay. So what happens that let's suppose that if there is a judge working in Allahabad High Court, or we can say that in the High Court of Uttar Pradesh, then the salaries and allowances of that High Court judge will be charged from the consolidated fund of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so it will be charged from the consolidated fund of Uttar Pradesh. So I am just saying that the salary and allowances of a High Court judge are charged on the consolidated fund of the concerned state. But friends, now we have one more question. So now our second question is that from where the High Court judges get their pension. Okay, means or we can say that from where the pension of High Court judges is charged, or on which fund the pension of High Court judges is charged. So again, the same task is for you, that pause the video and if you know the answer, then give your answer in the comment section. Okay, at least try to give the answer to make the session more interactive. So friends, what happens that the judges of High Court gets their pension from the consolidated fund of India, means the pension of High Court judges is charged on the consolidated fund of India. So there is a difference and you need to remember this difference, because definitely the questions are asked from such areas where there is a chance, where there is a scope for confusion. Okay, so here there are two different things, that the salary and allowances of High Court judges are charged from the consolidated fund of state, but the pension of these same High Court judges is charged on the consolidated fund of India. Okay, so just remember that the pension of the High Court judges is charged on the consolidated fund of India. So friends, now let's move forward. Now friends, after this the next topic is additional judge of High Court. So okay, so now we need to understand that what is the meaning of this additional judge of High Court, and how this additional judge is appointed, and what is the work of this additional judge of High Court. Okay, so now let's begin our discussion with this topic. So I will explain you this topic with the help of one example. So let's suppose friends that there is one high court. Okay, so I am not taking the name of any high court, just assume an imaginary high court. Okay, so you can consider any state high court as per your convenience. Okay, So let's suppose there is a high court. Okay, so let's draw. Let's suppose this is the high court. Okay, so now what happened? And let's suppose that the total number of judges in this high court are 53. Okay, so let's suppose that there is one chief justice. Okay, let's suppose that there is one chief justice of high court. Okay, and there are 52 more judges. Okay, means there are in total 53 judges in this high court. Now definitely we know that as the number of judges is limited, so definitely they are able to handle a limited number of cases. Okay, and definitely the number of judges is decided on the basis of that how many cases will a high court will face. Okay, now let's suppose what happened that in a given year. So so let's suppose in year 2018. Okay, so let's suppose what happened that in a given year, there is a clear increase in the business of this high court. Okay, what happened that there is a clear cut increase in the business of this high court. So now what does it mean? So it means that there is a large pendency of cases in the high court. Okay, means what happened that many cases were coming to high court. Okay, one by one many cases were coming to high court, and already many cases were already pending in the high court. So are you getting my point what I am trying to say? So I am just trying to say that more number of cases are coming to high court and already many cases are pending in the high court. So this basically means that now the high court has to deal with a great amount of work. The work of high court increased. Okay, so now how this kind of situation will be tackled? How this type of situation will be dealt? Okay, so why? Because all the cases are needed to be settled. Okay, high court has to settle all the cases. Okay, and already many cases are pending in the high court, and high court has to solve these cases, and more number of cases are coming to high court. So how this type of situation will be dealt? Okay, so for dealing with this situation, what President of India will do? Okay, so here President of India will interfere. So now what President of India will do? That President of India will appoint one more judge in the high court. Okay, so what President of India will do? President of India will appoint one person as the judge of this high court. Okay, but there are some conditions. The first condition is that this person must be duly qualified. Okay, so we have already discussed about the qualifications for becoming the judge of high court. Okay, so this person must be duly qualified for becoming the judge of high court. And the second condition is that President of India cannot appoint this person as the judge of high court for a period beyond 2 years. Now what does it mean? So it means that this person can serve as the judge of high court for a maximum period of 2 years. So this person will be called as the additional judge of high court. Okay, so now you understand what is the meaning of additional judge of high court. So additional judge of high court means that whenever there is an increase in the business of high court, or there is a large pendency of cases in the high court, then President of India may appoint a duly qualified person as an additional judge of high court for a period of not more than 2 years. Okay, so now President of India will appoint one person as the additional judge of high court, but the condition is that this person must be qualified for becoming the judge of high court, and the second condition is that the maximum tenure of this additional judge will be of 2 years. So friends, now the next topic is acting judge of high court. Okay, so now what is the meaning of acting judge of high court? So again I will give you one example, and based on that example I will explain you that what is the meaning of acting judge of high court, or who is acting judge of high court. So let's suppose friends that this is one high court. Okay, so let us suppose that this is one high court. Okay, so we have taken the example of one high court in the previous example. So in that example I told you that in this high court there is one chief justice and there are 52 more judges. Okay, means in total there are 53 judges in this high court. Now let's suppose what happened that out of these 52 judges, okay, out of these 52 judges, what happened that one judge of high court was unable to perform his function due to any reason. Okay, or let's suppose that this one judge of high court is absent from his office. Okay. Now why he is absent from his office or why he is unable to perform his functions? So there can be many reasons. For example, he is ill. For example, he is on vacation. Okay. Or there is some very important function in his house. So there can be many reasons. Okay. So if one judge is absent, okay, then how many judges are left? 51 judges are left. Okay. But how many judges are needed? Okay. So Chief Justice is there. But 51 judges are present and one judge is absent. So now there is a need of one more judge in the High Court. So now how to solve this problem? So now what will happen? That now we know that as one permanent judge of High Court is absent. So now what President of India will do? That now President of India will appoint one person as the acting judge of High Court for a temporary period. Okay, means for the period till which this permanent judge is absent. Okay, so what happens? That President of India appoints a person as the acting judge of High Court for a temporary period till the time the permanent judge is unable to perform his functions or he is absent from his office. Okay. So now can you tell me, okay, and he is appointed for a temporary period. Temporary period means he will work as the acting judge of High Court till the time this permanent judge is absent from the office. So when this permanent judge will resign, so then he will not work as the judge of High Court. Okay. So now can you tell me that what is the acting judge of High Court? So now you can tell that, sir, he is for a temporary period where the permanent judge of High Court is absent or unable to work for certain period, and he is appointed by the President of India. Now friends, after this, the next topic is ad hoc judge of High Court. So what is the meaning of this ad hoc judge of High Court? Okay, so I will give you an example, and based on that example I will explain you the concept of ad hoc judge. So let's suppose what happened, that let's suppose there is a specific case, or let's suppose what happened, that a specific case came in the High Court. Okay, and what is the quorum for that case? So let's suppose that the quorum for that case is of let's suppose 5 judges. Okay, means okay, so in the previous classes when I was explaining you about the Supreme Court of India and about the types of judges in Supreme Court, in that class I actually explained you that what is the meaning of quorum. Okay, so if I am saying that for a specific case the quorum of 5 judges is needed, so quorum basically means that the hearing of that case can be started only when 5 judges are available to deal with that case. Okay, so it simply means that this case will be listened by a 5 judges bench. Okay, so the quorum for this case is 5 judges. Okay, so now are you getting what is quorum? So quorum means the minimum number of judges required for the hearing of a case. Okay, and until 5 judges are not there, till then the case cannot be started. Now let's suppose all the judges are busy in other cases, and for this specific case only 4 judges are free. Okay, means only 4 judges are available to deal with that case. But I told you that at least 5 judges are needed. So now the question is that from where this one judge, okay, means from where this one judge will come. So what will happen, friends, that the Chief Justice of that High Court, okay, so here we are discussing about one specific High Court. Okay, so what will happen, that the Chief Justice of that particular High Court, first of all the Chief Justice of that High Court will take the prior permission from the President of India. Okay, means he will inform the President of India that, sir, one judge is okay, means for a specific case, for this type of case 5 judges are needed, and all the judges are busy in other cases and only 4 judges are available, means we need one more judge for completing the quorum to start this case. Okay, so first of all Chief Justice of that High Court will take the permission from the President of India, and after taking the permission from the President of India, Chief Justice of that High Court can ask a retired judge of High Court. Okay, what he will do, he will ask from one retired judge of High Court to work as the ad hoc judge of High Court. Okay, to work as the ad hoc judge of High Court for that specific case and for a specific time. Okay, so we know that the case will run for a specific time only. Okay, so now are you getting what I am saying? So I am saying that if the quorum for starting the hearing of a case is not completed, then for completing the quorum, Chief Justice of that High Court can, first of all, he will take the permission from the President of India, and after taking the permission of President, he can ask the retired judge of High Court, means the judge who have already been retired. Okay, so he can ask one retired judge of High Court to work as the ad hoc judge of High Court. Okay, and now this ad hoc judge will work for only that specific case. Okay, so he will not deal with all the cases. This ad hoc judge will deal with that specific case only for which he is being appointed. Okay, and he will be appointed as the ad hoc judge of High Court for a specific time only. So now can you tell me that what is the meaning of ad hoc judge of High Court? So now you can tell that, sir, Chief Justice of the concerned High Court with the prior consent of President may ask retired judge of High Court to work as ad hoc judge for any specified time period for a specific case if the quorum is not complete. Okay, so this is the meaning of ad hoc judge of High Court. So friends, with this the topic of High Court is now completed. So friends, now the topic of High Court is also completed. So now in the next class, we will continue our discussion with a fresh topic. So friends, I hope that all of you must have enjoyed the lecture, and if you have enjoyed the lecture, if you have liked the lecture, then please like the video, comment, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and select all. Now friends, we will meet in next class. Till then, stay indoors, stay healthy, take care of yourself. Thank you.